And we're live.
Welcome to the first podcast.
First one.
With Jake.
And Jake.
We're called Crypto and Curds.
Or Curds and Crypto. We don't know what you guys will like better, so... I guess this is just our first one being about the crypto space and what my friend Jake over here is kind of all about, so you can understand how awesome he is.
Hopefully we provide at least one person with enough education where they walk away with some understanding.
You're going to learn something. There's no way you're not going to learn something, but we're generally pretty entertaining. Otherwise, I don't think we would have made it this far. Curds and Crypto, we already ate the cheese curds. They got cold. Trying to set this up for the first time, but we got them from Culvers. We're from the Midwest, and they were delicious. We both like them with barbecue sauce. Eventually, we want to make our own sauce for cheese curd lovers around the globe. That's kind of what it is. First thing here that
First and foremost.
Yeah, first and foremost. Go ahead. Don't be so formal.
First and foremost, all of this information on here is for educational purposes only. None of this is financial advice.
I already had that later. See, look at this. Isn't it adorable?
Hey,
on our little script.
I just got to make sure we cover it. I don't think anybody actually abides by that.
No, but the first thing that I want to do is kind of give them a background about Web3. What's Web3? What does that mean?
So, I don't think there's an actual true definition of Web3. I think it's more of just an understanding what you kind of perceive it as. To me, it's equal rights for every person, not just through one company. So, like, anything on the internet is all rights to yourself. So basically, what you see with DAOs is governance. Basically, with Web3, everybody gets a saying, and whether or not, like, voting rights.
Yeah, it's like a democracy, but within the specific blockchain, right?
Right, unlike with net neutrality, where you had, like, 5 people vote on it.
Yeah, and then you just kind of get screwed out of that.
Web3 is orientated towards the smaller person and able to have more of a say.
Yeah, like
online.
us.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it is. So, like, blockchain, then, even to someone that, Web3 is Web3 encompasses so much. You don't even really, you can't even put it all into a sentence. It's just a lot. And blockchain's a lot. So, what is a blockchain?
Blockchain in itself is just a digital ledger. So basically what that is just any transactions you do is just stored on a data set. So basically like a personal checkbook, but online. So how you have a bank statement is that just in itself. So Bitcoin is just a giant ledger with only 21 capped coins circulating.
But Ethereum's different, right?
Yeah. Ethereum has smart contracts as opposed to Bitcoin that doesn't have smart contracts. With the Bitcoin update Taproot, they started to incorporate more security on the Bitcoin network, so they both have a lot different in terms of value.
And you mentioned smart contracts, so what does that do for Ethereum? Because Bitcoin doesn't have those.
Yeah, so smart contracts are just So if you can think about it in terms of real estate, is kind of how I think about it. A smart contract is just a loaded contract, like a deed. Both parties fill it out, and then it's signed, which you then get the title, which is the verified signature of the smart contract.
I mean, that makes sense. It's just something that you hold on the chain then, right?
Yeah.
You hold the rights to that specific thing.
So once a smart contract is sent, you get the title and you have the ownership of whatever is being sent through the smart contract.
No matter what it is. Just whatever's on the blockchain.
Yeah, no matter what it is, as long as it's built into a smart contract.
Because that can be anything from an NFT to a piece of the metaverse to, a coin. It really, it It's just some digital asset that you end up gaining the rights to.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what a smart contract is.
Exactly.
There you go. Okay, so one thing that I want to know, and what the listeners will hopefully want to know, is where the fuck are you getting this information from? How do you know so much? Because you do. I mean, I've known you long enough that you're the smartest guy that I know when it comes to crypto. How did that happen?
Well, crypto, like anything, you have to put a lot of work into it. This whole concept of where influencers say, oh, you're all going to be a millionaire. That's not true. You have to take the time and effort to read and to build your own understanding into it. So there is a lot of work in understanding it. As far as where I look, it sounds funny, but a lot of my alpha comes from Twitter. I think it's a good place just because that's where a lot of other people in the space collaborate, and
They do. That's where I get most of mine from, unless I'm asking you what the hell that I'm doing, which is half the battle for me. You're my information overload that I eventually learn from just from listening to, and that's why I really wanted us to do this, because I think that you're going to be fantastic at it.
one tip I would say for somebody who's just starting out is find a group of people or find a Discord that you can join with
Discord's mean a
and
lot.
tackle. When you have more minds working together than just one, you can help build an understanding faster than just you working on it.
Yeah.
So if you have multiple people working together and learning together, that's the best way to go about learning how to understand blockchain.
I learned a lot about Discords on the projects that, some of them that we're in, some of them that I'm in, some of them that you're in. I've joined so many Discords, and it's so confusing at first, but if you actually put in that time, like you said, and you kind of learn what's going on in that individual space, within the space, it sounds weird, but you kind of learn, and you learn about, you learn about whatever project you're looking into, and that helps you kind of understand other projects too.
Yeah, and to start, what I didn't do is as much as test a lot of the product. Try Maddox chain, try Avalanche's chain. Find which product you like the best, because that'll inherently give you more of an insight other than just investing.
Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power.
It's a pretty smart way to go about it, is just to actually look and start messing around with different wallets, start trying different things and products that are offered.
Me knowing your profession, I don't know if you want to share it on this, but how many hours do you listen to crypto stuff? Honestly, like during like a day.
Probably a day, 4 to 5 hours.
Just listening to crypto.
I just listen to crypto.
Isn't that crazy? That's fucking wild, dude. I mean, that's awesome. That's why you're good at this.
My job as a mailman has its perks.
Yep. You get to listen as you go. Delivering the mail and learning about that crypto, boy.
It's fun. It's more interesting than stocks.
Stocks are... we don't need to talk about stocks right now. It's a crypto podcast. I guess the next thing that I'm going to ask is, what's your favorite right now? What's your favorite blockchain or coin, or what's the project that you've most invested your time in the last couple months?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I would say right now, to me, what's most interesting as far as the development side is Atom's ecosystem. But I know how important Avalanche's subnets are to gaming. So as far as learning-wise, to me, I focus a lot of time in understanding the Atom ecosystem, but actually utilizing and playing to heart. I'm a gamer, so I have been using more of the Avalanche ecosystem.
And Atom, what does Atom do for the crypto space?
So you can think of Atom as kind of a bridge. So the main point of Ethereum with other apps is so they can talk to one another. So with Ethereum, you have ERC20 tokens, which are built off of Ethereum. Avalanche's purpose with IBCs is to bridge and allow other blockchains to talk to each other. So the main purpose. So what you're having with Cosmwasm, and Cosmwasm is allowing which was a new feature for Atom, allows smart contracts to be built on other chains, so other chains can talk to one another through bridging. So the main thing that's important for the ecosystem that's upcoming February 26th is EVMOS, which allows bridging on Ethereum related. So right now Avalanche has one super bridge from Ethereum, but EVMOS will allow any ERC20 token to talk with Atom and allow them to have their bridging capability.
So I always thought it was called an ERC token. Shows how much I know about crypto. So what is it? An ERC?
You can. I think
ARC?
you can say ERC20.
ERC20. Okay. So what? So ERC20. You're gonna probably hear about that a lot if you're just joining the crypto space because there's a lot. There's a lot of them, but they're also really important. Like, what are they?
Yeah.
Like, what are ERC20s?
An ERC20 is any crypto blockchain built off of Ethereum.
Mm-hmm.
But what you're seeing now with a lot of these layer 1 chains is they are EVM compatible, which means they're powered through the Ethereum virtual machine so they can talk to any Ethereum related blockchains.
So are we seeing more L1s, which are layer 1s, join and not use ERC tokens? Is that even possible?
Yeah. Right now, I don't think Terra Luna is EVM compatible. I could be wrong, but they build out their own ecosystem with UST.
What's UST?
UST is US Terra.
Oh yeah,
It's
that's right.
Terra
Yeah,
Luna's-
it's Terra Luna's version.
stablecoin.
Yep, I get it. It's Terra Luna's stablecoin.
If you want to talk about that, we can talk about
We can talk about anything.
Terra Luna's tokenomics for their stablecoin is more risky, but inherently how they built it is it's infinitely scalable. So you trade off riskiness for scalability. So basically when you have there's one way to make stablecoins, which is how MakerDAO does it, is with their DAI, you buy and you have over collateralized DAI through Ethereum, so it's 150%.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
That was a lot of big words. Hold on. Go back. That was a lot of big words even for me. So, like, explain the DAI, okay? And then let me know what that entire 2 sentence that you just said means.
So MakerDAO is a DeFi protocol that has a stablecoin like Terra Luna.
Yep, and I've seen it. I know what it looks
so
like.
DAI is Maker's stablecoin.
Yes.
How they make more DAI or how they have it backed. So every stablecoin needs to be backed by an asset.
something. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, Maker's stablecoin is over collateralized 150% Ethereum. I don't understand exactly how you get the collateralization, but it's all backed over the amount. So it's less risky than, say, how Terra Luna does it. Because it's over collateralized.
Which makes sense, but then those layer 1s have very congested servers, right? In comparison to Terra Luna.
So Terra's stablecoin, how they do their tokenomics is it's backed 1-to-1. It's collateralized per UST. So every UST that's bought is also burned.
Yep.
So
which means it gets thrown into the digital dumpster. Right into the digital dumpster.
I'm still learning a lot about it, but I do know that the trade-off for Terra Luna is it's risky, but if they do it right and it basically the whole thing depends on whether or not people use it. What the problem is when you see big dumps.
Here, you need to fidget while you think. Just use this paperclip. It's quiet.
when you see big dumps in the market like Bitcoin in May, that's when it's scary because you don't know if there's enough. You don't know if there's enough UST
to actually
people using it to keep it backed up. So you gotta hope that on big, which it's been stress tested a lot recently, but it's mainly if there's belief in it, and I think there is.
Okay, so I asked about your favorites. I know you were a hard Luna guy for a while there, so obviously you know about it. I remember when you went on your Luna kick. What is your favorite coin in general? Like not blockchain, not anything like that, not crypto game or NFT, just what's your favorite overall coin? What do you think's going to be the thing?
I think DeFi Kingdoms.
Just DeFi Kingdoms. And the coin for that's Jewel. I'm in that too. Very very fun. I actually got to go quest my character on it here pretty soon.
It's a clicker.
Yeah, it's a clicker. I mean, it's interesting how many games are out now with that, and in terms of like market cap and so on and so forth on certain things. It's crazy that something like Axie Infinity, which we both absolutely think is garbage, is so high just because it was the first one. I mean, kind of like Ethereum in a sense, right? Like Ethereum was the first blockchain with smart contracts that could be able to be built upon, and now there's all these other layer ones coming out like Solana and AVAX and Near that are following suit, but are almost in a way showing better promise in certain aspects than Ethereum. But Ethereum's still the big one, the big boy, because it was first. And Axie Infinity is kind of like that too, because it was the first one. But I didn't play the game. I almost played the game. You played the game. You hated it. Tell me about it.
Yeah, I didn't like Axie myself, just because it seemed like a way worse version of Pokemon.
That's it. Yeah. Okay, I could see that.
I like what they did with I think DeFi Kingdoms could take some things from Axie though, like how they built on their own server with their Ronin wallet, which I think was a pretty smart idea for their scalability.
That'd be kind of cool if DeFi Kingdoms had their own wallet.
Yeah,
Jewel wallet.
DeFi Kingdoms now is going to subnets because they saw the issue with Harmony's RPC. I love Harmony, but they have some things that they need to fix on the RPC side. So I do think, though, that they'll get those all addressed, and I still really, really like the chain. I think that Jewel moving to subnets are...
I'll be quick for people. RPC means remote procedure call. Got it. All right. It means is a set of protocols and interfaces that the client interacts with the blockchain system. So it's all little nodes interacting with each other. Sorry, I personally RPC. You use a lot of acronyms, and I'm too lazy to. You're okay. That's what I'm here for, and I'm too lazy to learn them all. So it's okay.
You know what we have to talk about though?
What?
So let me intro this a little bit. So today was interesting. Today is February 10th. 2022.
Sure is.
And we had the historic day. We had 7.5% inflation.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Which is the highest in 40 years.
Yeah, that's...
But it is also probably more like plus 10.
You think so?
Yeah. I don't think that's I think even that number is low.
It's a there's a bubble on it. Yeah, I can see it. I mean, the stock market bubbles are everywhere, man. The housing market, the stock market, bubbles have been around for years, and they just keep on ripping. Who knows when it's gonna pop? That's the thing. Nobody knows. It's all controlled by the bigwigs in their suits up in those big towers that they live in.
What I'm interested to see, I know it seems like to me is that a lot of people didn't buy this dip. The dip that was under 30,000.
Yeah, they were afraid. There's a lot of fucking narrative
There's a lot
out there.
of fear in the market, and I think there's a lot of people calling for below 40,000 Bitcoin. I think in March we're gonna see 40,000, and that I'm no on-chain expert, but I think 40,000 would be a really nice place for a retest before we go to all-time highs. So I'm really interested in watching that level. And
Bitcoin's not going anywhere either. It's being adopted by a lot, man.
See Russia
using
it as a...
Hold up. I have some news here, boy. Okay, so big milestones this week. We're gonna go over it. That transitions perfectly into this. So, first of all, what happened in the last 6 days up until today? I did the research on for the biggest news that I thought was out there. So, Microsoft hired a director of business development specifically for crypto, which I thought was pretty cool. Russia accepts Bitcoin as legal tender. I think that's interesting because days earlier, it registered. It was in the country. It registered its first digital asset management company right before they announced it as legal tenders. So that was something that they did. Not going to talk about it here, but I honestly think it's just a news cover to go forward with the war that's going on over there. That's my speculation on it. I've actually been saying that for a little while now.
So
but,
you think they're gonna...
I think they're gonna invade, yeah, and I think they had to do something big before they did it, dude. If you actually check my Twitter, I fucking tweeted that. I tweeted that 2 weeks ago.
My Twitter is Jumpstart Jake.
Yeah.
At Jumpstart Jake, by the way.
Yep, and there was a plug that later, but that's okay. You can plug it here.
I just gotta plug that.
Yeah, he's gotta plug it. I won't plug mine. Maybe you'll just see me on there. I'm a Solana fanboy a little bit, even though it's kind of been shitting on me lately, but... You know, Jake over here always says not to get emotional about crypto, but I did, and here we are. So maybe we'll talk about Solana in a different podcast or a tiny bit on it. It's been kind of getting pooped on, though.
Well, off of that, it's really hard not to be emotional in the crypto space.
It is. It's really hard not to be emotional in the crypto space. It's
a lot of the
volatility is
this
wild.
Market cycle. You're seeing a lot of people that have PTSD from past cycles.
Yeah.
People will say a negative 70% drawdown. They're like, oh, it still only has another negative 90% to go. So I think I find it really interesting that this market cycle could be, or where I should say where we are right now could be a bear market, as stupid as that sounds to some, is we still have seen negative 70% drawdowns on some altcoins.
Yeah, 70% is...
And I think a lot of people...
That sounds gross, dude.
I think a lot of people have been in the space for a long time, so they kind of get PTSD and thinking of prior bear market cycles where, I mean, DeFi 1.0 and those coins have been in a bear market since 2020. So there is sectors of crypto that have been in a bear market. Right now what we're seeing is potentially a new wave of market cycles where you see niche areas outperforming different sectors of the market.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what Adam did.
Yeah, Adam was a leading runner for a while, and then the narrative kind of moved. Now I think it's subnet season with a lot of the games.
Yeah, I mean, dude, games are going to be huge. There's so many people on the internet now that just are in it for the games. Like, just imagine how connected people are on games and being able to make money through them, dude. You really think that's not going to fucking work? Like, people are just going to want to do it because you make money.
Yeah, we're in such infant stages of gaming.
It's crazy.
That...
Don't worry, I'm paying attention. My buddy literally texted me about GUSD and if it's a safe coin because he didn't know what a stable coin was. So I'm just showing him...
Do you want me to talk about the risks
what it is.
of stable coins?
Yeah, talk about the risks of stable coins. I think that's a good segue into that, yeah.
Well, people are like, why don't I just invest $100,000 into a stable coin? Like, there's no risk, it just stays $1. Well, I mean, there is risk with any stable coin too. So we haven't seen some clear regulation with stable coins yet. And you've seen some news come out that the government is working on CBDCs, which is central bank digital currency.
Yeah.
So that's basically they're trying to work on their own stable coin. So how would I explain the risk with stable coins is that how stable coins are backed, they don't need to be public in disclosing how they collateralize and keep their peg. How we were talking about earlier with Terra Luna, people understand the tokenomics of that, but like US Tether, they can report how they're collateralized, but they don't necessarily need to report every way in which they're collateralized.
Which can be scary for some people, right?
So if you have a CBDC that comes out and they publicly show you all of the ways that it's collateralized and say, hey, this is how we do it, this is what it's backed by, would you want to invest with something that doesn't show you necessarily all the ways that it's collateralized, or would you rather invest with something that's completely public and open in how it's collateralized?
That's the question. Seriously, that's the question. They both have their merit.
And stable coins somewhat depend on being used in the ecosystem. If one's not being used, they basically
they'll just kind of piddle out.
Yeah, and those APRs, those 8% APRs that they're getting right now, those won't exist anymore.
Yeah, because
so you're just holding something that
I understand what you mean, because I think GUSD, the one that my buddy asked about, actually is Gemini dollar. Very interesting story that you've told me about those boys that started Gemini dollar. But right now it's its own exchange, and you can buy a variety of different coins on it. A lot of them are stable coins, though. A lot of them are different coins, and they have varying APYs that you can kind of get. But Gemini dollar specifically, from what I checked a couple days ago, was 8.05% APY, which is, I mean, that's pretty wild. That's basically 8x from any bank that you can get, and it's a stable coin, or stable dollar, I guess, if you want to call it, but it's essentially a stable coin that you just hold, and it doesn't lose its value, and you gain 8% back in a year, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. It's the thing that I would say is an easy segue for people that are kind of wary about crypto.
Yeah, it's a way to dip your toes in the space without collecting and using and exchanging without having to actually worry about price action.
Yeah, there's no price action. It's a stable coin or a stable dollar, and it sits and you earn money on it, and it's way better than having it in a savings account in a bank. The best bank is what? Still less than 1%? So that's...
And as your money's sitting in the bank with 7.5% inflation, you're not breaking even.
Yeah. So it's not... It's just, I don't know.
At least with that 8% APR, you're staying over the inflation rate.
Yeah, and there's a variety of stable coins on that app that you can pick from, and then you can actually dip your toes into other crypto that do have that volatility that you actually do get APY on back as well, including AVAX. AVAX is on there for like 4%, I remember.
If I had to pick one stable coin, I'd probably go with USDC.
Yeah, USDC. USDC is on the Gemini app as well, and that's 7.99%. So it's really not that much lower.
I would say it's the most widely used right now in the crypto space.
That would make a lot of sense. So I'm just texting my buddy to use USDC. Hold on, I'm doing a podcast. He's asking me these questions. He's asking these questions. He just asked me, how do these crypto places make this money to give back that APY? That's a good question. He asked a good question.
What was the question?
He wants to know how these crypto places, right, these entities, make money to give that type of APY. That's a hard question.
Let me think about this. How do they make their money to give out the APR?
Yeah,
it's
Is this a Google question?
It's off the top of my head, I'm not sure. I don't want to answer something that I'm not.
It's okay, Jeeves. How do most entities of crypto make money to pay out their APY. They sell at a profit. That's what they said. Annual percentage yield acts as a cryptocurrency savings account similar to an annual percentage rate. So basically, it's the exact same thing.
Yeah, it's like how does a bank earn? As more people invest in it, that inherently gains value.
Yeah. So they basically, well, let's see what CoinMarketCap says. It's a good thing we can add it. So I mean, it's talking about compounding interest that gets accumulated, and compounding it makes it possible to create money over time, because it's not simple interest, it's compound interest.
Let me just do a little plug. You can stake your Osmo on Kepler Wallet for 80% APY.
That's pretty crazy.
Just saying right now.
What's Kepler Wallet? We
Kepler
haven't even talked about
Wallet
wallets
is
yet.
Adam's native wallet.
Yeah, and I mean, you said you like the interface a lot. What are the two wallets? So describe what a wallet is here for me.
A wallet is just where you can hold more of a way to hold privately your Bitcoin off an exchange. So if an exchange gets hacked, you lose your amount, but if your wallet would need to be hacked. So it's a more individualized way to hold your crypto.
Like your own specific bank account for your assets
Right.
that you buy digitally, right?
The best way to store it is cold storage, first and foremost.
Which I have one right here, actually. Yep. Nothing's on it, though, because I'm a degenerate. So. But, yeah. Okay, now that he's taken care of, let's move on to the next session, or section, I should say, of kind of the big things that happened this week. So another couple ones. A lot of banks kind of jumped on board this week. JP Morgan Chase and Wells Fargo both came out and said that they're bullish on Bitcoin. I mean, that's huge. Those are two huge entities that have been around for how long in, the United States financial system.
America is the number one holder of Bitcoin.
Yeah, I know. That too. That's crazy. I mean, they're kind of a...
They seized.
Yeah, they seized it, and they were like, well, time to... That's ours now.
They're gonna slowly sell those tokens back onto the market, though.
Well, of course they are, but they also want to hold... They're going to want to hold something. They need to have a storage of Bitcoin if it's going to continue growing. Because, all in all, the government still needs to have some sort of control or they're going to go fucking crazy.
Hold up. But those two people that hacked Bitfinex, that totally was a cover-up. Those aren't the two actual people that did it.
You don't think so?
No, it's like Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Those two people are not it. Somebody's just covering their tracks by using them as a scapegoat. You've seen that girl's rap videos, have you?
Yeah.
Yeah, she didn't do it.
She didn't do it. There's no way. So Disney hired and is completely on board for a metaverse. A fully immersive Disney metaverse. So that's something that's kind of crazy. They hired a whole sector and they're all in, dude. Like you're literally going to be able to go to Disney from your fucking home. Who needs to go anymore? You can just go to the metaverse.
Why go to Disney when you can just sit in your living room?
Yep. Fucking easy Thursday night, boys.
It's probably hopefully not going to be as expensive as buying a churro at Disneyland.
Hopefully not. Dude, Disney's just expensive. So another two big ones after that. PayPal created an advisory committee for crypto this week. Fidelity said that Bitcoin, I quote, is a superior form of money. Which is Fidelity, as in the financial entity. And Tesla said that the cryptoverse as a whole, so crypto metaverse, whatever you want to call it, they call it cryptoverse, is an investment, I quote, as an alternative to cash. Like it's the alternative to cash, but Bitcoin specifically. The cryptoverse and all that is, like, that's huge. That's a lot of big names all in 1 week.
There's almost so much news that I can't keep up with it all.
Yeah, I searched for this. I made sure that we kind of went through it. See, I'm going to ask you this. True or false? Ethereum passed MasterCard. MasterCard's market cap this week.
True.
True. Ethereum
crazy.
passed MasterCard's market cap this week. That's a lot, man. Like, that's crazy. Bitcoin became the 8th largest asset in the world. There's going to be a ton of Super Bowl commercials from Sam from FTX on the Super Bowl. People are going to start buying. We're going to see a big candle here. That's my prediction because of the Super Bowl. There's going to be a lot of exposure, and you know, the safest one, in my opinion, to join first is probably Crypto.com. That's going to be the one. Crypto.com and FTX are kind of going to lead the way, and
Crypto.com offers the widest array of coins, I would say. Coinbase just lists anything.
yeah, Coinbase just is kind of whatever.
Coinbase is involved in some pump and dumps, which we won't get into.
But also, whenever I go on Coinbase and try and find a coin that I want, I can never fucking find it.
They just list it.
They list such random shit. It's crazy.
Obama Sonic Indie coin.
There's some crazy ones on there, man. Like, we missed out on Doge, both of us, actually.
So there's a lot of news, and the price is still dumping. So that tells you when we get bullish again, this shit's, I don't know, probably going to test that 69,000 in this year.
I mean, it's crazy. There were so many big names that came out. YouTube talked about NFTs and watching games inside of the metaverse. Like, they're completely all in on, like, NFTs, and they're really, really, like, excited about exploring that space.
Yeah, we saw, which India invested $3.5 billion.
Yeah, they
in the
invested.
metaverse.
Saudi Arabia invested a shit ton of money in it.
Now that Zuckerberg lost $250 billion, a lot of this money's flowing into a lot of the different metaverse projects.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, even, here's another one, too. In South Korea, the largest mobile gaming platform in South Korea, which is fucking huge for gaming, invested and planned to launch a metaverse NFT-based game and/or games for mobile today.
Damn.
Like, that's crazy. Like, people are all in right now. Like, it's coming. Even Nintendo said that they were interested in metaverse and NFTs. They said, I quote, "We feel their potential."
What's crazy about NFTs too is we're still in the denial stage.
Yeah, I know. Walmart said they were making NFTs.
It's like, people, what do you need to see? What else do you need to see?
What else do they need to see?
I think people are in denial of NFT. I just don't think people take enough time to understand what they can offer.
How was your day tonight?
My date?
Yeah,
was
how's your
good.
day tonight? Yeah?
Was really good.
Where'd you
I
go
ate
to
too
eat?
much food at Nakashima.
Yeah. But that's a cool restaurant, though, because they make the food in front of you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is
It
she
was-
cute?
She's no, I'm kidding. She's cute. If you're listening, I didn't say that.
I didn't say that. I had to ask. So, one thing that I'm really interested in, and I think you're interested in too, is kind of the aspect of obviously making money. There's different ways to do that on the space, right? It's still on. We're at 38 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
we're
just
at
wanted to
38
make
minutes.
Sure
Yeah.
this is still live.
Yeah, it's still live. I'm keeping it right over here, so we're talking about it. You can you can't really see it from there, but we're good. It's still
Okay.
it's still kicking. I had it in the corner of my eye to make sure. Didn't want to be not
I had
talking.
to test my.
Yep. I had to make sure. The thing that I was going to say is there's so much potential in different areas to make so much money. My personal favorite one, I think that I'm going to get really invested in here besides like gaming, but it's also in the same sense, is farming. Just farming in general. So yield farming. Explain
I
that.
thought you were gonna actually be a farmer.
Well, I used to be a farmer, a vegetable
No, you
farmer.
like crops. So.
But like literally just like farming, and certain games are almost exactly that. Like you're farming for the digital currency. Explain
Yeah.
farming.
So farming is just you offer collateral into a pool for an amount of time.
And a pool is like an asset that they choose.
Yeah.
Right.
So as more people have more funds locked into the pool, the APR can get more So as people pull those funds out, you pay a small fee, and that gets thrown into the pool, and that's how those rewards are
generated.
Compounded. And
Yeah,
generated.
compounded and generated.
By people signing transactions, and with those small fees attached, you build a APR base that's higher than what a typical.
And it's crazy. I mean, some of the numbers out there right now are wild. Like, just even just for me being just quoting DeFi Kingdoms, because that's the thing that we're kind of in at the moment, is I have about $350 being quote unquote yield farming, and my yearly generation is over $1,000 just a year. If I had $350 in a bank account, dude, I'd get like 2 pennies.
I think that beats 2 pennies.
Of course it beats 2 pennies, but I'd like $1.20. I think that's crazy. You're basically 3xing for putting something in something and not looking at it.
Yeah, just that's why the steak farming's good, because you can kind of lock it away and you're kind of forced to hold it, which I think a lot of people in the space, that's for the better, because then you can't paper hand your steak.
That's true, dude. I've paper handed a few times and I regret each and every one of them.
The most regret I ever hear is people selling, never buying.
That's true. Yeah.
Same with housing and real estate. If you just bought and held all your assets, over time, I think you'll be happy.
Yeah, that's very true. So, farming to me is what's going to get people the most interested, because you make money. You inherently make money by holding on to your asset. I think that that's a lot easier for people to understand than just buying a coin and expecting it to make you money. You know what I mean? Like, it's something, yes, it's still in the digital space, but it's something tangible. Like, you say, okay, I buy this specifically. I did the research. If I put it into this is what I can get back. Right? And if you understand the project, like, that makes a lot more sense to people than just like, oh, I'm going to throw my money into this fucking coin and hopefully it 3x's. I think that's hard for some people to understand.
Yeah, I think a lot of what's a hard concept that I won't dive into is with farming, you also a lot of times get a locked amount for a certain amount of time, and those unlock linearly over a period. And those locking periods can be bullish for the crypto itself, or it can be bearish too. It all depends on how much tokens were allocated to the community versus maybe like 1% of the token holders.
So, super easy question for you. What is Bitcoin? Seriously.
Yeah, Bitcoin is just the ultimate blockchain.
The ultimate blockchain. Why?
Because it's hard capped and it's the most decentralized way to have a hard capped store of supply.
How much is left? Do you know?
I think 2 million.
It's about 2 million. 2.1 as of a couple days ago is what I saw. Out of, I think, 23?
21
million, so there's not much left. So when you really think about it, right now, this digital currency is worth $43 million, basically, or $43,000 at this moment, and there's only 2.1 million left to mine. So only so many people can hold it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the supply shock is not set in yet.
No.
Not by retail.
No. Now, the mining could still take between 4 to 10 years to complete, is what I've read.
Longer than that.
You think it's longer than that? I think as more people jump on, it's going to get shorter.
Well, the halving cycles, I think, would take us to 2040.
You think so?
To have all the Bitcoin completely mined.
Dude, what is the price target even for Bitcoin at 2040?
But what you have too with... Sorry, what was your question?
No, go ahead.
What you have too is a lot of these coins are locked and they're gone forever in some wallets, so those will never be back into supply either.
That's
on
true.
Exchanges.
So there's a certain percentage that aren't even in.
Yeah, that aren't even able to be obtained So
they're not even in the market.
Yeah,
they're
lot
just,
of the liquidity is on exchanges.
Yeah.
And they sell to people that hold it.
Yeah.
But the best way to get Bitcoin is through mining, which would give you non-KYC.
Which means?
KYC is able to be taxable and tracked. I'm not condoning ever untaxable, but it's the most secure and pure
way to gain the actual currency.
Yeah, to make sure you have the right currency.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't even remember what I asked, to be honest with you. That's okay. We'll move on. I want to know what your favorite wallet is. So there's a lot of wallets out there. There's a shit ton of wallets out there.
Yeah, probably easy to use. Phantom.
Yeah, Phantom's easy to use. Yeah.
MetaMask is good, but even what's crazy is it's still slow. MetaMask
is still slow. There's just, it's so widely utilized now for so many things. It's just what it is.
Yeah.
Somebody will take it over one day.
Well, I'm projecting that Phantom, I'm going to make a bold prediction. Phantom has more users than MetaMask by the end of this year.
I could see it. Phantom just came out with their mobile in the last, 3 weeks?
If it's not this year, next year.
He's covering his tracks. Covering the bases. The last couple things here that I have for you really are in relation to, I kind of mentioned Solana. Tell me what you think about Solana.
I think they're hearing the community with a lot of the VC insensitized projects that have been built on it, and I think moving forward in the future, a lot of the projects on Solana will have more community involvement.
Because there are a lot of projects on Solana.
Yeah.
Like being the L1 or AL1, it probably has, if not, does have the largest backing, community-wise.
Yeah, it's, I don't know if you want to say cheesy to say, but it's almost too big to fail at this point.
Yeah, it's almost too big to fail. It does have problems, though, which is why you're kind of iffy about it.
There's growing pains on where it's a lot of these need just with being too big to fail. While we have market prices going down, those people are still building, and that takes time to build.
We could see projects that are being undertaken right now on those L1s, regardless of what one it is, whether it's AVAX or Solana, that don't take off for a couple of years, and then all of a sudden, when this becomes more widely adopted, it's just everywhere. Like, you don't even know what's going to be the one that's going to be utilized. Like, what project is in the blockchain is going to be utilized. There's so many.
Mm-hmm. And maybe we can see a multi-chain future with Atom.
That's true, and then you can just do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, IBCs can help them talk to each other.
Yeah, and that's why Atom didn't crash and burn like everything else did on the last dip.
But with that, you need more security.
Well, of course you do. It's all about security. Whoever's the most secure is going to be the one that's the most utilized at the end of the day. Because both Ethereum and Solana have been subject to multiple hacks in the last couple months, if not multiple months, or since their creation, really. Like, there have been hacks on all of them, which is a scary thing when you think about it. If your assets are in that, and then all of a sudden your money's just...
Yeah. I think a lot of people are going to take some time and catching up on how you can keep yourself secure.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a hard thing for a lot of adults to understand.
Cold storage, like you said, right? Or a wallet at the very least.
Yeah, watch out for phishing emails.
Yep, don't click on shit.
Don't sign any never give out your seed phrase, for God's sake.
Do not.
I know a lot of the Bored Ape members whitelisting seed phrases.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't give out anything.
Don't do that.
Just don't either cold storage it, put it on some jump drive or whatever you got, or put it in a wallet. Those are your best options.
Put it in a wallet and put it on a cold storage and forget about it.
And 10 years, you'll be thanking us. Well, for tonight, I think that's all we have. This is not financial advice, to plug it one more time. This is us talking about less about cheese curds and more about crypto tonight, because our cheese curds kind of got cold. But again, we did have a set of Culvers cheese curds. We shared them with one bucket of barbecue sauce, which is Sweet Baby Ray's. We didn't double dip, but they were pretty good. They were squeaky. Did you get any squeaky ones?
I didn't get a squeaky.
I got a squeaky one. It was delicious. Culvers actually got third in the contest last year for best cheese curd in Wisconsin. Fun fact.
Culvers plug.
Yep, Culvers plug. Sponsor us. Really across from me here, Jake Jen, same thing for me. He's going to give away $20 in Bitcoin, Ethereum. Which one are you going to choose?
We'll do Bitcoin.
We'll do Bitcoin. So it's $20. Just put a comment down on the Twitter post that he sends out for the podcast. Whoever comments, we'll get that, the names of the people into a generator, and we'll hand out $20 Bitcoin. I think that's fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, that's fair.
All right. Thank you for listening. I hope you learned a little bit.
Please love us, and we will see you on the next rendition of Curds and Crypto.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Done deal. 52 minutes.
Save.
Yep. How do I...